Hi, hello and welcome. This is Shankar IAS Academy's Daily Current Affairs Analysis and today's date is 17/12/2025. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit on the bell icon if you want to receive instant updates. So let's move to the topics of discussion for the day. The first topic of the day is biosecurity and its impacts. Second topic is about AI and how the militant groups are using AI for extremism. The third topic of the day is India as the #1 destination for wildlife animals as a refuge and how it is importing and the balance between imports and exports by India. Next is about the Supreme Court's judgment on the national air pollution in our national capital and how it is impacting and how it is violating a constitutional right. And the last topic is the prelims focus. The first topic of the day has a strong relation to biology. Biology today is no longer confined to hospitals and laboratories. It is prevalent everywhere. Now, the existential question is that biology is not only used to cure diseases, but it is also used to create them. And with this in accord, the emerging question before India is not about how we are going to cure all these or how we are going to make new policies. It is that how effective are we and how ready are we to tackle all these emerging risks. So let's dive into the first topic and decode it. It is about biosecurity in India. So let's understand what biosecurity first is. Biosecurity is basically preventing intentional misuse of anything related to biology. It may be toxins, it may be any form of microbe, it may be any form of agent, or maybe any form of biotechnology, but the misuse should not be intentional. So now it takes us to another question. If you're talking about what intentional is, then what if it is accidental? In case it is accidental, it is called as biosafety. So in case you have an accidental hazard that is happening, that is biosafety. And in case you have something intentional that is happening, then that is biosecurity. This is the difference. So accidental and intentional. Now, what does the biosecurity cover? Point 1, that is, if you have a lab that is handling a dangerous pathogen, then the protection of the lab, the protection of the microbe or the toxin or the pathogen, it comes under biosecurity. The second point is that if there are any deliberate outbreaks, so in case of a deliberate outbreak, you have to identify how it is outbroken and the detection of the pathogen and the containment of the pathogen again. You are analyzing all this. This also comes under biosecurity. Then the protection of human, animal and plant health also comes under biosecurity. So first we have seen about what biosecurity is and how intentional and unintentional misuse plays a role, and then what covers. Now the next question is why biosecurity is becoming more important, because biosecurity is related to humans and humans have a tendency to misuse when it gives them power. So biotechnology gives human greater control over biology, and henceforth not everybody will be having the same intention. So the same tool can be used for malicious activity as well. Let's take the case of COVID-19, a pathogen like that. In case we're using it to create vaccines, the mRNA vaccines, then it is used for a good intention. Now in case you use that for a biowar, then it becomes malicious activity. So the same pathogen can be used for two different things. Now there's also increased risk. There's increased risk of bioweapon development. There's increased risk of synthetic biology misuse, and there are also a lot of non-state actors accessing biological tools. Now what are these? The first thing is, earlier you need a laboratory or you need a hospital to test all these. Now it is more prevalent everywhere and it is accessible. So there are a lot of synthetic weapons that are emerging. So this bioweapon development, when it is increasing, it is going to harm us. The second point is that when synthetic biology is misused, as I already stated, there are two ways. One, you will think that okay, they're making a vaccine, so that's why they're using this. And the second point, you will think, no, this can also be used as a pathogen in some kind of disease spreading. So you see, both of these can be there. So this is an risk. The third one is the non-state actors, the terror groups or the lone actors, they all have an access to these biological tools. So henceforth, this is also very, very important to understand. Why India needs strong biosecurity henceforth is we have the western frontier, which is more and more at risk, and in the east we have the Arunachal Pradesh border, which is also at risk. So you have two very, very vulnerable groups, and near the Indian Ocean region also we have a very penetratable sea route. Henceforth, our geography and ecology is kind of very vulnerable. So this will give access to cross-border biorisks. So we have to be very strong in our biosecurity. Next, we have a large population. We have even surpassed China in terms of population. Henceforth, the outbreak is going to be very, very fast. Due to the large population, the contagious nature will be fast, and we have the evidence of COVID-19 before us, and how much variance we had, and how much of loss of life we had during that time. And there is agricultural dependence. In case there is one mishap, then there will be threat to food security. Your cattle will die, and humans will not have proper access. And in case it is something that harms the crops, then it is going to be even more difficult for us to have food at that particular point. And that is where this parity of inequality will come, wherein the rich people will have access to the resources, and people just above the poverty line will not be able to access the resources, and henceforth it will become a very big problem at that point. And there are a lot of examples. One of the example is the preparation of ricin toxin, and this ricin toxin has also been used for terror use. Henceforth, even without a confirmed bioterror attack, the risk is always growing. Henceforth, India needs strong biosecurity at this point. Now, there are a lot of mechanisms in which biosecurity in India is implemented. As I already mentioned in the introduction, what the real question is, it's not about having new policies. We just have to understand, are we really ready to tackle all these emerging risks? So there are multiple fragmented mechanisms. So the first one is the Environmental Protection Act, which was in 1986. It talks about how the hazardous microorganisms and GMOs are present and how to handle them. The second one is the Weapons of Mass Destruction and their Delivery Systems. This is under the Prohibition of Unlawful Activities Act 2005. This criminalizes the use of any form of biological weapon. Then in 1989, we had the biosafety rules. This had the guidelines for recombinant DNA research. Then came the institutions. In the earlier slide, we saw that these are all mechanisms of safety. Next, we have the institutions. The first institution is the DBT, the Department of Biotechnology. It talks about how your lab should be safe, secure, and your research should be governed in what manner. All that will come under Department of Biotechnology. Next, we have the National Center for Disease Control. Here, we will talk about how the outbreak, if there is any outbreak, how is it going on, or before the outbreak, how do we have surveillance over that particular area. All that is under the National Center for Disease Control. Next, we have the Biological Disaster Management, wherein NDMA comes into play, and it sees and it identifies if there is any biological disaster taking place at that particular place. Next is the Animal Husbandry Department. This talks about the livestock biosecurity. So livestock are very, very important. Henceforth, are there any pathogens that are injected in the cattle, or is there any new outbreak of any contagious disease among the animals? All that is seen under the Animal Husbandry Department. Next, we have the Plant Quarantine Department. This one regulates agricultural imports, exports, and the Plant Quarantine Organization takes care of all things happening here. Next, we have the major challenges. The first one is that there is no unified national biosecurity framework. So we understand one important thing here. When there is no biosecurity framework, it is fragmented. It is completely fragmented, and multiple agencies are working parallelly. They're not working together, but they're working parallelly. So it creates a fragment there itself. Then the infrastructure gaps, how much infrastructure gap do we have, is not clearly identified. When it's not clearly identified, it creates a sense of gap. Henceforth, these capability gaps must be bridged. Then India ranks 66 in its Global Health Security Index. It's 66. So we have to have our capacity deduction to be improved, and our response capability has also declined. So how quick are we to respond when we have some kind of a biosecurity threat also needs to be understood. Now, the Biological Weapons Convention. This is very, very important. This Biological Weapons Convention came to force in 1975, and it was the first international treaty. This international treaty banned the development, the production, and the use of biological weapon, and it requires the destruction of existing stockpiles. Even if you have any existing stock of biological weapon, you are required to destruct it, and India is a signatory. See, here you don't have any on-site visit to go and check if this is done in accordance. Henceforth, this Biological Weapons Convention also has a strong challenge here that should be rectified. Now, the prelims practice question of the day. With reference to the Biological Weapons Convention, consider the following statements. It prohibits the development, production, and stockpiling of biological toxin weapons. Yes. It mandates the verification mechanism. No, there is no verification mechanism. No on-site inspection, similar to the Chemical Weapons Convention. Now you can understand that the Chemical Weapons Convention has a verification mechanism, but Biological Weapons Convention does not have a verification mechanism. It is a signatory to the convention. India is a signatory. Yes, only two. Let's check. Yes, the answer is 2 only. So the statement 1, statement 3 are right. Hence, the answer will be 2 only. With this, we have come to the end of the first topic of the day, and we are moving to the second topic. The second topic of the day is in relation to AI and extremism. Extremism and extremists, both of them have always adapted to technology, and technology in this generation is ever growing. Earlier, you imagine extremist. That person would have conveyed information through pirate radios, or he must have done it through pamphlets or some secret club service. But in today's generation, you no longer need all that. It has all gone digital. And with this going digital is one important thing that we have to think about, that digital manipulation is on the rise, that automation and algorithms are the norm. Now we have to decode how these AI risks are expected to grow and how this experimentation is going to create threat. Let's decode the second topic of the day, which is about AI and extremism. Let's set this in context. So first is about the militant extremist groups which are using artificial intelligence. For example, we see the case of ISIS, which is using artificial intelligence, and we have reports which state that it is using intelligence reports, and it is increasingly using artificial intelligence to aid their propaganda. Now AI has a lot of good things that it does, but it also has cons at the side. Now intelligence agencies want that AI will aid in recruitment, because let's take social media profiles. Even you and I know that there is one particular friend who has a particular ideology. Now if I am able to identify that person, and if I am able to tap into the mindset of the person and understand that this will aid him in some way or help him in some way, if I'm able to convince him, if I'm able to persuade him, then this will aid in recruitment. So the first point of aiding recruitment will be done. That's why this militant extremist groups, what they're doing is more psychological than political. This is also a form of psychological warfare. Next, it will also improve the propaganda. Second point, we have a lot of propaganda that's going on, so this will also increase the propaganda, because you will be able to spread information faster with algorithms, with a lot of reach. You'll be able to do that. Next is about enhancing operational capabilities. Your operational capabilities will also increase. That is the third point. Now you see, these are the 3 points which intelligence agencies want. Now the risk of AI tools being used is increasing, because even you and I use ChatGPT today, and DeepSeek has become inevitable. So AI tools are cheaper, it is more accessible, henceforth it is creating a kind of risk situation in this present context. Now, let's move to how recruitment and radicalization happens. Let's talk about the linguistic diversity. The linguistic diversity. India has a lot of linguistic diversity. Yes, now extremist groups are able to reach people in multiple languages. From Kashmir to Kanyakumari, you say any language, AI is able to code your information in that language, it is able to give you an output. So, this creates that specific audiences are able to get the propaganda in their own localized language. So, when you have localized language, your reach is faster. And yes, social media and discussion forums get the idea faster. Now, automated messaging happens with chatbots, and this chatbots, when you're coding and training them in a particular way, they are able to persuade users. They're able to persuade users, engage and persuade users continuously. So, all these are helping them in recruitment and radicalization. And there is also a chance of misinformation. Let's take battlefield or a war zone. Battlefield or a war zone. Here you see a lot of deepfakes which are generated. Recently you saw that even in China border, you saw that there were a lot of talks about how our Indian army personnels were caged there and they were being tortured. But then actually it was a deep fake video which was going on at that point. Henceforth, these deep fakes create realistic visuals, but they're false, and we all succumb to this. So AI generated images and videos, earlier when you had videos, you were able to tell the difference between what was original and what was not. Today AI generated videos are becoming at a sporadic rise. It is increasing faster. So AI generated images and videos are very scary, and the purpose is to glorify violence. It is glorifying violence, it is exaggerating success, it is intimidating their enemies, it creates fear and confusion. All these agendas are henceforth used. Next is about the content creation scale. See, AI makes it easier to produce large scale content for extremists, and their online presence and leadership is disrupted. Even when leadership is disrupted, even when there is no leader, their online presence is always there, because someone or the other can reach out online and they can message. So AI makes it easier for content and for communication. So earlier propaganda was centralized, but now it is decentralized. When it's decentralized, when it's faster, it's harder to trace. And the important point here is that it has also become localized. In your own local language, in your own proximity, it's become localized. Then why AI makes it more dangerous is that even small groups can access AI tools. We access AI tools, and automation reduces the need for skilled human propaganda people. Earlier, skill was needed, but now that is not needed, and messages are tailored to their emotions, and it's personalized. Even when you talk about chat gpt or deepseek, when you talk to it about your problems and you give it a prompt saying, I need you to be honest, it's honest with you. If you tell it that tell to it that I need you to be more sensitive towards my information, it says that what you're saying is right. So personalization is also a point. And the faster you reach, there is faster radicalization that also happens. Now, there are a few international mechanisms. The first is the UNCCT. UNCCT produces early warning reports. So it says when a terrorist is misusing artificial intelligence, and even the counter-terrorism agencies, they are also using AI, and they are using it to counter the AI extremism. So AI has now become a point wherein everything is everything is AI. You cannot do anything without AI. AI has become central. Next is Global Digital Compact. Now, this initiative is proposing a new feature. It is saying that International Scientific Panel on Artificial Research is very, very important, and governance on artificial intelligence is also important. This is what is going on, and it is a global dialogue that is going on between all the other countries. It's just a proposal, by the way. Next, public private partnerships, PPPs. There are a lot of platforms um, that remove these terrorist contents using hash sharing database, and these enable platforms to remove all that, helping us. So the Global Internet Forum to Counter Terrorism is one such non-profit tech led institution that is happening. Next is UN supported initiative helps the smaller platforms. So when there is some threat, or when there is some kind of risk, they have their moderation tools and they use their best practices to avoid all this. And in the regional level, we have the EU AI Act. It is also a multinational AI regulation, and the National Institute of Standard Technology also is a voluntary framework which helps us, and it reduces the risk with any kind of malicious misuse. Now, in India specific, you see IT rules. First, it shows about how the enforcement happens. Then the IT Act, it shows about how AI enabled cyber crimes and online frauds are happening. It is even more relevant because you see cyber slavery has become very, very prevalent. You see that a lot of people from India move towards abroad, and they are cyber slaves. They are cyber slaves doing digital fraud at that point. And then in the cyber defense incident response, here you see it issues alerts for cyber threats. It runs the cyber swachhta kendra for removal, and the best practice guidelines, which is for safe generative AI use. And India AI initiative, this focuses on deepfake detection. Defense AI, this focuses on perimeter security systems. And I4C, Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, this coordinates law enforcement agencies to tackle cyber crime and radicalization. So there are a lot of threats that come from AI. So now we have to strengthen our frameworks. There are a lot of policies, we have to strengthen them, and we have to identify how to tackle them more efficiently. Now, the main practice question of the day: artificial intelligence has emerged as a force multiplier for extremist groups, enabling rapid radicalization, propaganda dissemination, and operational coordination. In this context, examine the misuse of AI by extremist organizations and discuss the challenges, policy responses required to counter AI-enabled extremism in India and globally. So, this is a 15-mark question. Please send across your answer copy so that we will also be able to help you in regard to your preparation. So with this, we have come to the end of the second topic of the day, and let's move on to the third. India today is not just a biologically diverse and rich country. It has also become a refuge for a lot of wild animals, and India has become the number one destination in that. So let's see how and decode today's topic. So you see that cheetah made headlines, and there were thousands of animals from around the world that came to India. But India and its zoos, its national parks, its biodiversity areas have made history because we have brought in more species than ever now. Let's see. See, from the CITES data, we have inferred a few things. That is, India has emerged as the world's largest importer of zoo animals in recent years. And 90% of all the animals that are imported in the Indian zoos are in the last 4 years. So you see here you have 90% of all animals that are imported in the zoo since 1975 have arrived in the last 4 years. In the last 4 years, we have had a sporadic increase henceforth. And then let's see the data point. It is about 6,400. It's about 6,400 animals that have come in. This is in the last 4 years, and the source is from the CITES data. Now, India's global ranking in the animal import is that in 2023 and 24, since it has imported about 6,500 animals, it ranks number one. It ranks number one in zoo animal imports. And in 2024, the total amount of animals imported worldwide is 2,922, among which 1,640 was imported by India. Previous rank in 2022 is that India was in the second position, 21 it was in the fourth position, and now when we are talking about 2025, India is in the first position. Yes, in the first position. And the major source countries for India is, first one, as we have already seen, the first one is South Africa. 30% of India's total live animal imports come from South Africa. It is a very, very ecologically rich region, and a lot of animals are imported from there. Other major exporters are UAE, Czech Republic, Mexico, Australia, Germany, Singapore, and Sri Lanka. So many exporter countries are not biodiversity rich. They are also integrating the zoo to zoo transfers rather than wild capture. So see, rather than wildly capturing from this zoo, they are transferring to that zoo. They are just doing it for their own convenience. That's what is happening with regard to exports. Then in the species composition, you also have to remember that India is the only country that has snow leopards, tigers, cheetahs, leopards, everything in one particular geographical territory. So big cats dominate imports. We have tiger has the first highest imported species, and then is the lion, and the third is the cheetah. But we would make a mistake when we see cheetah because it was recently imported. But tiger, lion, cheetah, that's how the chronology comes in, and it is translocated to the Kuno Palpo National Park here. This happened in 2023 to 2024, and out of which we see that there were a few species that died, and then it was not able to survive climate. They say that the cheetah program was a failure, but then this is how the chronology of the import goes. And other frequently imported is the Burmese python, the common squirrel monkey, the African spurred tortoise, the Nile crocodile, chimpanzee, baboon, and parrot. So we see that there is a lot of import of the charismatic megafauna, especially in the big cats. Then India's exports vary. It's very, very limited because very few animals are legally exported from India. In the year 2005 only we had the highest export, that was about 47 animals were exported. The total export from 1976 to 2024 itself is only 483 animals, but we have 1687 animals that were imported only in 2025. So India imports more than it exports. Then we have gharial as the largest exported species. Then we have the mugger crocodile, the saltwater crocodile, and the Asian elephant. This is done in limited numbers. So there is restricted wildlife export policy under the Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. It's not some other year, it's 1972, so we have to pay attention here. So CITES is the authority which regulates the endangered species and its trade, and India is a signatory since the 1976. And zoo imports in India are regulated by the Central Zoo Authority under the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, and also the Wildlife Protection Act also governs this. So zoo to zoo animal exchange is permitted only with the Central Zoo Authority, and sites, both of them have to apply and comply with it. Only then can you exchange an animal from one place to another. Now we have come to the prelims practice question of the day. India has emerged as the world's largest importer of zoo animals in recent years as per CITES data. Yes, India exports more wild animals annually than it imports. No, it does not export more. The answer should be one only. Yes, the answer is one only. With this, we have come to the end of the third topic of the day, and we are moving to the fourth topic. Let's decode it. In regard to the fourth topic of the day, the air pollution in Delhi has not just been a seasonal issue in relation to its weathers and seasons, but it's become a violation of the constitutional right. Let's see how, and let's decode. The severe air pollution in Delhi has not subsided, it's only increasing. And when we have inclement weather, that is the winters, despite multiple Supreme Court directions, we only see that it is sporadically, rapidly increasing. And we need a lot of regulatory mechanisms to subdue it. So let's, there's also one important thing that we have to see here. The pollution in summer and the pollution in winter. When you take the pollution in summer to the pollution in winter, the pollution in winter is more. The pollution in winter is more than the pollution in summer. That is one important thing that we have to remember. This observation has led that Delhi is seriously affected and is going to be seriously affected in the coming days. And observations made by the bench led by Chief Justice of India, Honorable Surya Kant sir, is also told that this has to be taken under accord, because this is violating one important thing, that is right to life. Right to life comes under Article 21. So this is one important thing that we have to remove. Then there are Supreme Court observations. First, why does it fail? There are so many measures that are taken, then why is it failing? That is, the lifestyle change has not been brought in. Everybody wants to keep their lifestyle, everybody wants to handle pollution in their own way. And when it comes to the rich affluent section, they're not able to reduce their lifestyle. And henceforth, first, that reluctance to change causes a lot of dissent here. And then there are a large use of diesel vehicles, and diesel generators are also used, which creates pollution again. And appliances which emit a higher amount of pollutants are also run year wide. That also creates a kind of pollution here. Now the impact is disproportionate, because you see a lot of, let's take the example of gig workers. Gig workers cannot afford hybrid work. So hybrid work model, they cannot afford the hybrid work model, but hybrid work model can be afforded only by resource intensive jobs and high paid jobs. So in case of high paid and resource intensive jobs, they are able to take work from home, and they are able to protect themselves. But the poor working class and the gig workers, they are almost exposed and suffer more air pollution. So this Supreme Court has stressed, this is one of the reasons that it's stressed that the order should be implementable, and the lifestyle changes should be as part of economic compliance, because this comes also under the fundamental duties with regard to environment. So the transport sector, as you see, the transport sector has about 41%. This is the largest contributor in Delhi. The largest contributor being the transport sector. After that, you see the dust construction activity, then dust from construction activity, after that industrial activity, after that power plants, residential activities and other sources. So this stubble burning is seasonal and periodic. You see that the stubble burning is very seasonal, and it's not a year round phenomena. This is very important. It's not a year round phenomena. Then we talk about the graded response action plan, or the GRAP. This is invoked due to severe air quality index, and key measures are that on demolition activities and construction activities there is a complete ban. Next, restrictions on industrial operations, and then for schools and offices to shift to hybrid or online mode. This is not a compliance model, this is a advisory model. This is very important. Again, it's advisory. Then we see that the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and Adjoining Areas Act 2021 says that it should be implemented. All these key measures should be implemented, is told by the Commission for Air Quality Management in National Capital Region and their adjoining areas. So with this, we'll move to the prelims practice question of the day. With reference to air pollution management in Delhi NCR region, let's examine the following statements. The transport sector is the single largest contributor. Yes, it is the single largest contributor of ambient air pollution in Delhi NCR according to CAQM data. Yes, correct. Stubble burning is identified as a year-long dominant source. No, it's not year-long dominant. It is periodic, as we have already seen. Periodic and a dominant source of air pollution in Delhi NCR. So hence the statement 2 is wrong. You can eliminate 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 and 2. The answer should be 1 only, because the question is which one of the following is right. Let's check. Yes, the answer is 1 only. With this, we have come to the end of the fourth topic of the day, and we are moving to the prelims focus for the day. So with this, we have come to the final topic of the day, the prelims focus. And first, we are going to talk about the National Means Cum Merit Scholarship Scheme. This is a central sector scheme. So this is basically a way to provide about 1 lakh rupees scholarship for people from just above or below the poverty lane. So how are they taking this ideal? This is above or just above or below the poverty lane. How are they taking this ideal is the annual income of the parent should not exceed 3,50,000 rupees per year. So this is scholarship scheme. So per month they'll get about 12,000 rupees, and the eligibility is that they should be studying in government aided and local body schools. Private schools not eligible. They are not eligible. And the selection test, students must have secured at least 55% marks in class 7 with a relaxation of 5%. Why have they taken class 7 is because this objective is to reduce dropout rates from 8th grade. That's why this happens. So next, yes, it is 1 lakh fresh scholarships every year to meritorious students and to reduce dropout rates and complete their schooling up to class 10. This is the basic objective of this first scheme. Next, we move to the Census of India 2027 portal. This is from this Census Management and Monitoring System portal. This portal will be able to monitor time to time update and monitor the census updation process on a real time basis. So census 2027 will be the 16th census, since independence. So this is very important. And then with this, we will move to the prelims practice question for the day. Consider the following statements regarding the National Means Cum Merit Scholarship Scheme. National Means Cum Merit Scholarship Scheme. It is a central scheme providing scholarships to students from economically weaker sections. Yes, first point is right. Students from private and unaided schools are also eligible. No, only government aided schools and local schools. People from this schools are only eligible. And henceforth, which of these statements are correct? 1 only, 2 only. So 2 will not be there. So all these options will go away. Henceforth, the answer should be 1 only. Let's check. Yes, the answer is 1 only. With this, we have come to the end of today's video. Hope you liked today's video. Please like, comment, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we have come to the conclusion of today's video. Continue watching. Thank you.